When was the last time that you felt like you experienced a win? Maybe that win came last night. Maybe it was last week. Maybe it was last month. And maybe for some of you, it feels like the last time that you experienced a win was last year. See, life can be hard. It can be full of a variety of different emotions, physical battles, things that take things away from us. And in the chaos of whatever it is that we're facing, oftentimes how we respond isn't often how we normally should respond. I found myself asking this question, a question that can be asked in multiple different ways, with multiple different responses, but ultimately with a similar connection between all three. That question is, where were you? Have you ever asked someone that question? So when we ask that question, where were you, we're often wondering where it is that these individuals are, or this person is, because you've called upon them to be somewhere at some specific time, and then they're not there. And maybe you've been on the receiving end of that question. And in that moment, you're trying to find some sort of answer that would give the other individual an understanding of what it is that has taken place and why it is that you weren't there. And oftentimes, the emotions of that situation get the best of us. Maybe it's frustration. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's concern and care. Then I find myself asking that question, where were you? Where were you when you got the news? Where were you when this incredible life-changing moment took place, and as you look around, you find yourself surrounded by people on both your left and your right, and the way that they express themselves and that emotion is different than yours, and so you just begin to bottle up whatever it is about how you feel in that situation. And it's as if we were afraid to let go and to express how we feel in fear of what people might think about us. We feel alone. We feel secluded. And then when the moment does come and you express how you feel, oftentimes it's received differently than how you were actually trying to say it in the first place. But I have one more question for you. Where were you? Have you taken a look at where you've been? Have you turned around and noticed just how far you've come? Or maybe you find yourself in a difficult moment because where you were is where you are. And where you are is not where you want to be. See, it's in this moment of looking back and realizing just how far we've come. It's almost as if we place road marks on places that we've been. And we see just how far we've come. And oftentimes we revisit those places, not to stay there, but just to acknowledge the fact that this is where I was, this is where I am, but this is where I want to be. And for some of you, you see those road marks and you never want to go back there. But in these three questions, there's a similar connection. It's a moment of pause, where just for a moment we stop. And in that pause, in a world that we live in today where time seems to be a waste, when we stop, we find ourselves looking around for an answer. And oftentimes, the first answer that we give is not the best answer. And so when I ask that question, where were you? Where were you? And where were you? Do you understand that in that moment of pause, in that stopping place, winning can take place? I wonder if this Easter we could take back something that was taken away from us. Maybe it was taken a long time ago. Maybe it was just this last year. Maybe it was just last week. And as the frustrations and the difficulties of life begin to weigh down upon you, maybe this Easter you would take that back. Because with whoever you meet with this week, whenever you meet, I want you to remind yourself of this. You are loved. Even in the difficult times, even in the times that you feel like you're lost, and the times it feels like you're alone because you're really not sure how to express yourself, and the times when you think about the person that you once were, or you think about the person that you are right now, but ultimately see who you want to be, remind yourself that you are loved. See, this Easter should be different. This Easter can be different. Because the minute that we let go and let God take whatever it is that causes us not to stop and consider what it is that has changed our life, is the minute that we can let God begin to work in our lives to experience victory. So this Easter, remind yourself, you are loved.